G'day guys, welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You're here with all four of the boys, myself, Josh, BT, Steve and Tazza. We're here for the weekly review of the AFL season. Round 14, fellas. We're through the bye rounds now. About to get back into some full fixtures, but first, we've got to look back. We've got to take a look at round 14 with our regular segment. Hits, misses and hold fire. Steve, you always start this off the right way with a big hit and a team that's gone really well for the week. Who are we looking at this week?
Big hit this week is Port Adelaide, Taz's mob.
Yeah, he's going to be stoked.
He's got to be happy with that. A nice win against a top 8 team. Keeps them in the mix. Well, puts them firmly in the mix, I'd say, to contest for a top 8. If they'd have lost, I think you could probably have written them off, personally, for me. But look, I mean, they won, so it keeps them in the mix. So,
and against a good team as well, Steve. Sydney, we've all firmly been, well, I mean, I wouldn't say firmly, but we're all pretty sure they're a finals team. They dipped away of late, but Port Adelaide getting it done when it mattered most. Tazza, as the Port man, tell us how you feel.
Yeah, it was a must-win. Port with their backs against the wall, no Boak, no Gray, lost Butters start of the second quarter, plus the ruckman in the debutant Teakle. Yeah, I really feared the worst at that point. I mean, it was a decent start by the boys, but that third quarter, that second half, it was just blew them out of the water, and they didn't look back. Shorted up at the back, and Hinkley does this all the time. I said it. Hinkley finds a way to pull it out of his ass, and once again he has against all the odds, really. So I mean, I'm happy. Yeah.
BT, this is a team that's gone 6-2 since starting 0-5 for the year. They're on a good run of form, and it's the Port Adelaide that we thought we were going to get at the start of the season when we put them in our top 4.
Yeah, like Tazza said, that game just then they had a few players go down, and this was against a pretty much full-strength Sydney team, who we've had pretty high hopes for. So they played that game perfectly. They're only 2 games out of the top 8 now somehow. We were comparing them to the Eagles only a month ago, really. So, yeah, it's good. It's good to see. It makes the final race very interesting now.
Yeah, we were making calls at the start of the season that there was a 0-5 clash between the Eagles and Port, and Ken Hinkley was going to lose his job. He's pulled it out of the flames, and Tazza, you'd have to say a big part of it is your man, your main man, Toddy Marshall. He's been excellent.
Absolutely, mate. I look forward to putting his number on the back of my jersey a bit later this year. But yeah, I mean, 27 goals he's kicked so far. Highest. I mean, we'll touch on him in our next episode as well. But 27 goals. He's got the highest goal kicking accuracy for goal kickers that have kicked over 20 goals so far this season. Wow. So he knows where the middle is. He's
got the best set shot in the game, in my opinion.
It's such a simple set shot, and it's just head over the ball, just no nonsense. And he's come along in leaps and bounds, and God knows Port have needed him because Georgiades has been non-existent, and Dixon only really just come back. So he's pretty much dragged Port to where they are at the moment.
And Finlayson as well, not really getting up to the level we saw him at GWS. We, in the pre-season, thought Toddy Marshall was clearly the number 4 peg in the Port Adelaide forward line. He is number 1 at the moment and going great guns. So that's a nice hit from you, Steve. Nice work. First up as well after the week off. So glad to see that. BT, over to you with a miss, and a hard-hitting miss is what we're looking for this week. A team that just really needs a lift.
Oh, I've been hanging out for this one for quite a while now. St Kilda, they're finally on the miss hit again. So, yeah. And they've got Jack Steele back probably next week, so they're just downhill from here now.
Oh, no.
With him coming back, that just makes their team worse.
Steve, this was really poor. This was really poor, Steve. A 35-point loss to the Dons on Friday night. This is a gimme for the Saints.
Yeah, it's quite embarrassing, actually. I think if you're a Saints fan, I mean, even without, since they lost Steele, they've still been getting some results. But I mean, yeah, the way Essendon have been playing recently, yeah, if you had money on Essendon to win, you would have made a pretty penny. So yeah, that's one they're just going to want to sweep under the carpet real quick, I think.
BT, you'd have the stats on this, but you know that when you have a loss and you lose the contested possessions and you lose the tackles as well, you know it's been a pretty bad day. And the Saints went down in both of those categories by double digits.
Yeah, quite convincingly. And it looked at even playing when you're watching that game as well. So they weren't in that really. I think Essendon nearly led the whole game. So they actually looked pretty bad. So they need to bounce back, because with these teams around them in that 7th and 8th spot, that's where I'm thinking they're going to be finishing around there. There's a lot of teams with your Richmond, Collingwood, Gold Coast, Port Adelaide now, all pushing Bulldogs. They need to win those type of games.
It's a very tight race out for the finals. We're going to touch on some pre-season predictions that we made in our videos later on this week, but I'm a little bit bullish about my prediction, fellas, about a really tight, close finish to the season. But make sure you stay tuned for that one. Taz, heading over to you. The team that we're going to hold fire on this week that we need a bit more information.
We're heading over to the Gold Coast this week. Hold up on Gold Coast. Where has this come from? 3 wins in a row at an average margin of 57 points. Yes, the opposition hasn't been of the highest caliber, but it's the Gold Coast. These are teams that they were dancing around with at this time of the year last season and barely keeping their heads above water. And now they're trouncing them by 10 goals on average a game. Top 8. Look, we just talked about that. This battle is. I agree with you on your call, Josh. This season will go right down to the wire, and Gold Coast are going to be right in the thick of it. So
that is something that you love to hear, though. I mean, the Suns up and about. I think we've actually spoken about the Suns a bit more than most on this channel here, and copped a little bit of stick for it, because a lot of people still aren't buying into the hype. But Steve, they're well and truly in the mix, and you got to say they've had some good wins on the board, Sydney and Fremantle, to really prove that they're a contender.
Oh, they're absolutely producing the goods. Like, I think we had them bottom 3 in our pre-season prediction in terms of the ladder. So
we had them bottom. We had them dead last.
Yeah, dead last. And I mean, they've certainly proved us wrong. Goes to show we know absolute sweet FA. But I mean, yeah, I mean, props to them. Like, I don't think many people would have had them in this situation and in this position. So, yeah, I mean, props to them. And if all they got to do is just keep doing what they're doing, and they'll be right there towards the end. So they just can't drop off. Sounds obvious, but yeah.
Hey, BT, how's this for the next 3 weeks for the Gold Coast Suns? Port Adelaide away, Collingwood at home, Richmond at home. That is one of the most, important 3 weeks in the Suns' history, because they're the teams they're competing against for that last spot in the 8. And if they win 2 out of 3, I reckon they're there.
I reckon if they win 2 out of 3 of those, they're pushing top 6. They're only 1 game from 6 now. So, and they're one of the form teams with Port Adelaide, I would say. So if they can knock off these teams, then yeah, they're right in the mix. And I'd love to see them play finals.
Imagine the scenes.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I just want to get a song.
When first, yeah. I wouldn't even have a clue what the words are for that song.
No idea.
No.
Comment below. The theme song for the Gold Coast Suns. Something about the sky? I don't know. Let us know in the comments below the Gold Coast Suns theme song, because we want to hear it, especially on the last day in September. Look, fellas, that's a short, sharp version of the hits, misses, and hold fire. And if you like that, stay tuned, because this week on the channel, we're going to be having plenty of hits, misses, and hold fires about our pre-season predictions. It is mid-season time. We're recapping everything. We're holding each other to account. If there's been shit calls on the channel, we're going to bring them up, we're going to roast them, and we're going to stay accountable for it. So make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to be putting out videos all week long, AFL related.